In a bustling royal court, the poor miller bowed low, but his tongue was reckless. To gain favor, he bragged, "Your Majesty, my daughter has a gift no one else in this land possesses, she can spin straw into gold." Murmurs rippled through the hall. The king leaned forward, eyes narrowing with greed. To him, wealth was power, and here stood a man offering an endless fountain of it. He gave a thin smile. "If that is true, she shall prove it tonight. If it is false, both your honor and her life are worth nothing." The miller's daughter, standing pale beside her father, felt her knees weaken. A single lie had sealed her fate. Guards led her to a tall stone chamber. Inside, heaps of dry straw reached nearly to the ceiling. A spinning wheel stood at the center, silent and waiting. The door slammed shut, bolts scraping into place. The king's voice echoed one last command, "By dawn, all must be gold. Fail, and you die." The girl looked around the cold room. The smell of straw was heavy, scratching her throat. She touched the wheel with trembling fingers. She had never spun even a thread, let alone performed an impossible miracle. The vast chamber pressed down on her like a tomb, and fear clutched her heart. The miller's daughter wept, trapped in the chamber. She had never spun even thread. The night grew heavy until the door creaked. A crooked little man appeared, eyes gleaming. "I can spin straw into gold," he whispered. "But what will you give me in return?" At first, she thought he must be a spirit, or a trick of madness. Yet the glint in his eyes promised power. Desperate, she clutched the necklace her mother had once given her. Her last keepsake, her last comfort. With shaking hands, she held it out. The little man snatched it away greedily, fingers curling like claws. His grin stretched wide as he dragged the wheel closer. With a snap of his hands, the straw began to stir. At first, she thought he must be a spirit, or a trick of madness. Yet the glint in his eyes promised power. Desperate, she clutched the necklace her mother had once given her. Her last keepsake, her last comfort. With shaking hands, she held it out. The little man snatched it away greedily, fingers curling like claws. His grin stretched wide as he dragged the wheel closer. With a snap of his hands, the straw began to stir. By morning, the chamber dazzled with piles of gold. The king entered, his jaw dropping at the sight. Yet awe swiftly hardened into hunger. He clapped once, and the guards dragged her to another chamber, larger, higher, filled with even more straw. His words were sharper now, "Do it again. Bring me more gold. Then we shall see your worth." The girl's heart sank. She had survived the night, but she was still caught in the same snare, her life dangling from the king's greed. At first, she thought he must be a spirit, or a trick of madness. Yet the glint in his eyes promised power. Desperate, she clutched the necklace her mother had once given her. Her last keepsake, her last comfort. With shaking hands, she held it out. The little man snatched it away greedily, fingers curling like claws. His grin stretched wide as he dragged the wheel closer. With a snap of his hands, the straw began to stir. The third night was worst of all. The chamber was cavernous, mountains of straw piled like walls around her. She knew the pattern, he would come, and she had nothing left. When the crooked man appeared, she begged, "I have nothing more to give." He tilted his head, his grin stretching. "Then promise me this. When you are queen, give me your firstborn child." Her blood froze. A child? A life not yet lived? But death was breathing at her shoulder, and the king's threat still rang. With a broken whisper, she said, "I promise." The bargain sealed, the wheel spun faster than ever, filling the room with gold until dawn. Morning came and the king was overcome with joy. Never had he dreamed of such wealth. He announced to his court that he would take the girl as his bride. A wedding followed, grand and radiant, filled with music and feasts. She wore the crown, heavy with jewels. To all the kingdom, she was blessed. But beneath the golden crown, her heart carried a shadow. The memory of her promise lingered, sharp as a hidden knife. Years passed in uneasy peace. The queen bore a child, a beautiful prince. For a brief moment, she felt safe, until one night, as the candles guttered low, a small shadow hopped into the nursery. The crooked little man appeared, his grin unchanged. "The time has come," he rasped. "Give me what you promised." The queen clutched her baby, tears streaming. "Please, take gold, take jewels, take the crown itself, but not my child." But the man shook his head. His voice was sharp, cutting. "No. A bargain is a bargain. Yet I will give you one chance. In 3 nights, if you can guess my name, you keep the child. Fail, and he is mine." With that, he vanished into the dark, leaving the queen trembling with dread. The queen summoned her servants, whispering names until her voice cracked. That evening, when the crooked man returned, she tried them one by one: Caspar, Bartholomew, Wilhelm. Dozens more. He laughed with every attempt, shaking his head. Wrong, wrong, all wrong. The sound of his laughter lingered after he was gone, haunting her chamber long into the night. The second day, she sent messengers across the land, ordering them to collect names. One returned at twilight, pale and shaken. "Your Majesty, in the deep woods, I saw a strange figure dancing round a fire, singing again and again, for none of them know my name is Rumpelstiltskin." The queen's heart leapt. Could it be true? She clutched her child tighter, hope fighting with fear. One name saves the child. One mistake loses everything. The third night. Embers low. A golden cradle sleeping. The little man in a brown coat hops beside the throne. "Guess my name, and you keep the child. Fail, and the babe is mine." The queen is hollow with 3 sleepless nights. A messenger has just returned from the woods, swearing he saw a figure dancing round a fire, singing a mad refrain, "For none of them know my name is Rumpelstiltskin." She tightens her ribbon and turns to face him. He smirks. "Try, your grace." "Caspar? Bartholomew?" She shakes her head, steps nearer the cradle, her voice is thin as a needle. "No. Your name is Rumpelstiltskin." The room holds its breath. His smile tears, he stamps, floor cracks, puff, and smoke swallows him. The queen lifts her child and snuffs the last coal. Night settles. And an old lesson is kept: speak the true name, and wicked magic turns to ash. The queen sank into her chair, clutching her son, the fire's last sparks fading. Outside, dawn broke, casting gentle light over the palace. The curse was lifted, the shadow was gone. She whispered to her child, "Truth has power, my love. Never forget it." And so the tale spread across the kingdom: the price of greed, the danger of bargains, and the strength of truth, strong enough to turn even dark magic into dust.